Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Tuesday tutorial. This week I'm going to be going through teaching you how to use curling tongs. Now these are the Babulous Pro ceramic dial heat tongs. It's the ones that we use in the salon. They come in different sizes. So if we start from largest to smallest, we've got the 38mm, 32, 24, and then down to 19. They do smaller than that, but we don't really use much smaller in the salon, hence why I've not got them here. They're really good curling tongs. I say we've used them for years now. They've got the little rest that you can stand them up on to avoid any damage to your surfaces, or as you've seen in the salon, we use to hang them up. They've got the on-off switch and the dial heat temperature control, so you can have them as hot or as cool as you like. Now to start off, obviously I've dried, washed and dried my hair. I'll just give it a brush through to make sure there's no knots in there. As always, and which will be second nature to you by now, I've used my heat protection, but I've also got my hot off the press to use before I curl each section. So, as we've been doing with the blow drying and also with the styling irons, we're going to start off in the nape of the neck. So, going from behind the ears, straight across, and twisting that up out the way. Right, now obviously depending on your length of hair or how curly you want your hair will depend on which size curling tongs you're going to use. Today I'm going to use the 24mm because I want quite a bit of curl, but I want it, and I also want it to last a few days because I'm lazy and don't want to do it again tomorrow. If you think, obviously if you've got hair sort of this length and you were going to go in with like your 38mm, you're only going to get a bit of bend. So that's where it'd be more to your advantage, going a little bit smaller on your barrel. Obviously, you know, if you want quite a tight curl, you can go in with something smaller. If you've got long hair and you just want a soft wave, then the bigger sizes would be sufficient for that. So, section the hair off, we're gonna split down the middle, bring over our shoulders, as we've been doing, say, with the previous tutorials. Give it a light spritz with the hot off the press, just give that a little bit more protection. Wait for that to dry in. So I'm going with the 24mm curling tongs. So we'll split this bottom section into two. And what we're going to do is open the clamp, feed the hair in, and then this is going to be hard to explain because I think I just do it, you know, without even thinking these days. We're just going to slide down the hair shaft and start to roll up. And as we roll up, loosen it slightly and roll up again until we've got the ends tucked in. What you don't want to end up is leaving the ends or getting them sort of crushed in a little bit. You end up with what we call fish hooks, where you clamp the ends not very nicely, and so you end up with a little dent. So I don't recommend touching the hair, but hairdresser asbestos fingers. You can get heat protective gloves now that come with a lot of the wands. So if you feel more comfortable wearing those. So as you can see, I've got a nice soft ringlet. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the other way. So whereas before we had the clamp at the front, I'm going to twist it round with the clamp at the back. Again, slide down a bit, roll up, loosen off again, and roll up to the roots. Obviously this is one of these things that's going to take a lot of practice to get used to working in the mirror and working out which way to roll to get the curl you want. There's no problem with doing them all the same way. What you'll find when you brush it out is you'll get just like a nice soft wave, whereas if you alternate the directions, you get that more sort of tussled natural curl. So if we go in with this side, I'm gonna go clamp at the front, slide down, roll up a bit, loosen off again, slide down, and roll up. And it's just a case of waiting. Okay, you can see that. Let's get those ends in. Roll it up. As you can see, I'm not using a comb. I I find it a bit more awkward to try and get a comb in there and use the tongs as well, so I do rely a lot on my hands. So just to say, be careful with burning yourself, so you might want to invest in a heat-proof glove. So going up the next section, just above the ears. Like I say, obviously if you want a quite curly look and you want something that's going to last quite a few days, go in with a lot smaller sections. So whereas I've done one section from the back of the ears down, you might want to split that into two. So, you know, halfway up the nape and neck and then there, and say go in with really small sections and you'll get a far curlier look. So again, it's quite easy to see now where your curls are and your uncurled bits are. So if we start front, almost forgot the heat spray. God, it smells lovely. Right, if you want a look that's slightly more lived in, the more relaxed look, and less sort of glamorous red carpet, we can leave the ends out purposely. So again, you would slide in, roll down, but leave those ends out. As you come up, you start to relax, we can just unhoop the top curl, unhoop again and leave tight. You can see those ends there, and it just left that little bit straighter. And then what you'll find is as you comb it through at the end, you'll end up with a lot more relaxed look. I'll show you that again. Coming the other way, so clamp at the back. Slide down but leave the ends out. Roll up. Unhoop that top one, slide down. So it's just a case of dragging it down a little bit. So you get, say, more of a wave than your typical curl. So one more time. So you can just see those smoother ends, but we've still got control. We haven't got our fish hooks. We have not clamped them in and bent them. Okay? So just go on this side. Now, if you know that your hair is naturally poker straight and you struggle to get your curls to stay, remember if you've watched the previous tutorials, the blow drying one, we spoke about manipulating your hair while it was warm and then setting it while it was cool. So this is where it would be beneficial to invest in some little clips. Hair grips works just as well, but probably a little bit fiddlier. So you can get your curl in place. So roll it up, slide down, slide down. And then what you do is once you've dropped the curl out, so obviously we're manipulating it while it's warm, then what we want to do is set it actually in the curl. Like that. So by setting it up in a tight curl, obviously this is going to cool as it's hanging, which is fine. It'll hold to a certain degree, but say if you really struggle with keeping that curl, by letting it cool in a tighter curl, you're going to maximise the chances of, say, it lasting. So if we just do another one. Roll it up. Okay, so just roll it on your finger. I would say be careful that it's still going to be warm. Again, my asbestos hands don't seem to notice it. Just feed your clip in. Oh, I'll get this second one. Like that. Okay? Right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of my hair now. So from here, I'll probably take another one, probably another section about there, another section about there, and then my top one. So I will come back to you when I get to the top. So now we're at the top. The front section, I always make sure that we curl that away from the face. I think it gives a bit of a softer, more flattering look. And the problem, as I'm experiencing now, is when you've got layers and shorter pieces, you have to make sure you keep them tucked in as you're moving down and releasing your clamp slightly. So take that off the face. So the points to remember when curling your hair: nice clean sections, which will obviously come with practice. Practice makes perfect. Work methodically. So start at the bottom, work your way up. There's no point doing ice curls on top and then having to clip them out the way to access the hair at the bottom. So work methodically up. Smaller sections equals longevity with your curls generally. And yeah, heat protection always. So now I've curled everywhere. I would normally leave this now to cool down whilst I did my makeup or did something else and then brush it out. So I'm just going to leave it for a moment. Obviously we've still got the two clipped ones which they've cooled now, so I will take them down. And can you see how much tighter they are for being in the clips? So like I say, if you struggle with keeping the curl in your hair, that would be a good tip for you to try. Obviously I would never want them that curly anyway, but you know, a bit of brushing through, a bit of product will soon bring them down. So yeah, I'm going to leave these to cool and set, and then I will be back. Right, so when it comes to combing out your curls, I like to use a wide tooth comb. You can use your fingers, you can use like a soft bristle brush if you want more of a really soft wave, just a bit of movement through your hair. But say, I want that's more sort of, not rougher, but more natural, sort of lived in look, so a wide tooth comb is the way to go. You can chuck your head upside down and brush it through that way. That'll give you, say, a little bit more oomph. But say, all you really want to do is just gently work through it. It just separates all those ringlets. And then so we can mess about there. I always tend to chuck my parting over. And then what I would do is go in with my gloss drops, so a little pump, put that through your hands. Just smooth that through the mid-lengths and ends. And obviously where you feel like it's fluffed up a bit, when you've combed it through this, you'll just polish it back down. And so the more you rake it through with your fingers, the more the curls will drop. So you can move it side to side. Curling is also a really good basis for if you want to put your hair up. It gives it that extra oomph to work with. So if you notice in the salon, if you've ever had a put up, we tend to curl a lot beforehand. Even just for a ponytail, if you stick your hair up in a nice high ponytail when you've got curls, it can really change the look. So now that I'm happy, do the parting a little bit over. That's it. Yeah, so now I'm happy with the look. We can go in with our spray. So my two favourites are either Paul Mitchell Freeze and Shine. If you've been in the salon, we've sprayed this, you know how amazing that smells, and it does exactly what it says on the bottle. It freezes, it shines. Or a more flexible hold is the Hold Me Tight. Still quite strong, but a bit more give that you can work with it. Both of them comb out, brush out really easily, so it's not like you're gonna be left with you know, rock hard hair that you can't do a thing with. If you just lift and spray, that'll help keep that volume in there again. You can always chuck your head upside down. If you want a little bit more body. But yeah, and that'll just kind of polish up and set your style. Lovely. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this week's tutorial. I hope you're all going to go and practice your curly do's. Take care, and we will see you next week. Bye.